Today, we're highlighting California Senate Bill 253, the Climate Corporate Data Accountability Act, a landmark climate disclosure law that could reshape how major companies report their greenhouse gas emissions. So what does it actually do? Senate Bill 253 applies to US-based companies doing business in California with annual revenues over $1 billion. And that's a lot of companies, both inside and outside the state. Starting in 2026, these companies will be required to publicly disclose their greenhouse gas emissions for Scope 1, which is their direct emissions, and Scope 2, their indirect emissions. Then beginning in 2027, they would also have to report Scope 3 emissions, which include all the emissions across their entire value chain: suppliers, customers, transportation, and even employee travel. All disclosures must follow recognized frameworks like the Greenhouse Gas Protocol and will be publicly accessible for investors, regulators, and the public to see. There's also a requirement for third-party assurance, meaning independent verification, first at a limited level and later moving toward reasonable assurance as reporting systems mature. And here's the key detail. California's definition of doing business is broad, so even companies headquartered elsewhere but with operations or significant sales in California will fall under this law. This bill is a major shift in corporate climate transparency. For the first time, it pushes large corporations to reveal their full emissions footprint, not just what they directly produce, but the much larger share of emissions hidden across their supply chains. That's a game changer, especially for industries like tech, fashion, and consumer goods, where Scope 3 emissions can account for up to 90% of their total climate impact. For investors and consumers, this means clearer data to understand who's actually walking the talk on sustainability and who's not. Of course, not everyone is cheering. Some companies argue the requirements are too complex or costly, especially for Scope 3 data, which can be tough to collect. Others worry about overlap with upcoming federal disclosure rules from the SEC or international standards like the ISSB. And then there's also an open question about jurisdiction. How far California can reach when enforcing this on global corporations? But one thing is clear, with Senate Bill 253, California just set a new benchmark for corporate climate accountability, and it could soon influence disclosure laws across the US and beyond. My name is Agatha Afemike, and this is the Sustainability Grid.